Publié par.
Published by RPM. 1408 Ford F-150 Lightning recalled over programming issue. Author, Luke Olivier Chamberlain. Just over 1,400 Ford F-150 Lightnings are being recalled for a stability system programming issue. Only 1,408 Ford F-150 Lightnings are affected. The stability system does not return to the default setting. The Ford F-150 Lightning has demonstrated good reliability since its debut in 2021. However, that doesn't mean it's perfect. It already has a few recalls, notably in relation to the central light bar of the rear light, the tire pressure system and the electronic cabin heating. We learn that a new recall affects him concerning a programming problem. When the vehicle is in off-road mode, the electronic stability control (ESC) system deactivates. According to Canadian safety standards, this system should automatically reactivate upon startup, but this does not appear to be the case. Considering that this is an important safety element, the manufacturer must recall the approximately 1,408 vehicles affected by this situation. The affected vehicles were manufactured between April 26, 2022 and April 18, 2023. Affected consumers will be notified shortly, if they have not already done so. Reprogramming can be done in two ways, either at the dealership or by updating via wireless transmission via the sync system. Here are the details of Recall 23C38, which affects the Ford F-150 Lightning. Issue: on certain F-150 Lightning electric trucks, a software issue may cause the electronic stability control (ESC) system to not return to the default setting when the vehicle is started. Canadian regulations require that the electronic stability control system be set to default every time the vehicle is started. Safety risks. A driver who is unaware that the electronic stability control system is set differently could be at increased risk of an accident. Corrective actions. Ford will notify owners by mail and send via wireless transmission a software update for the sync module. Owners can also make an appointment to have the update done at a Ford dealership. Published by RPM. Recall of the 2010 and 2011 Ford Fusion. Author, Luke Olivier Chamberlain. Ford will recall the 2010 and 2011 Ford Fusion due to a potentially defective fuel tank pressure valve. For the moment, Transport Canada has not yet issued an official request, but it is a matter of time before we proceed. We learn that on American soil, nearly 500,000 vehicles are affected. However, south of our borders, we must also include the Mercury Milan. On the other hand, we don't say a single word about the Lincoln MKZ, which nevertheless shares all of their architecture. Ford has discovered that the valve that controls the internal voltage of the fuel tank may be failing. As a result, the pressure can cause cracks at the top of the tank and thus cause a fuel leak. Obviously, in such circumstances, if heat is present, a fire risk becomes a possibility. For the moment, Ford has not reported any incidents resulting from this failure. This is therefore a preventive reminder. Ford technicians will replace the faulty part at no cost to the consumer. We will change the pressure valve as well as the programming of the control module. Published by RPM. Recall of the 2010 and 2011 Ford Fusion. Author, Luke Olivier Chamberlain. Ford will recall the 2010 and 2011 Ford Fusion due to a potentially defective fuel tank pressure valve. For the moment, Transport Canada has not yet issued an official request, but it is a matter of time before we proceed. We learn that on American soil, nearly 500,000 vehicles are affected. However, south of our borders, we must also include the Mercury Milan. On the other hand, we don't say a single word about the Lincoln MKZ, which nevertheless shares all of their architecture. Ford has discovered that the valve that controls the internal voltage of the fuel tank may be failing. As a result, the pressure can cause cracks at the top of the tank and thus cause a fuel leak. Obviously, in such circumstances, if heat is present, a fire risk becomes a possibility. For the moment, Ford has not reported any incidents resulting from this failure. This is therefore a preventive reminder. Ford technicians will replace the faulty part at no cost to the consumer. We will Published by RPM. Ford recalls 25,200 2013 to 2017 Ford Explorers. Author, Samuel Lessard. This is the second time that the 2013 to 2017 Ford Explorer has been subject to a recall related to the rear suspension arms. Vehicle safety is particularly scrutinized by various government agencies, particularly when incidents causing injuries are reported. In this sense, Ford is recalling 375,200 Ford Explorers from model years 2013 to 2017, including 25,200 in Canada, following 13 accidents, at least 6 of which caused injuries. The recall involves the rear suspension arms. The affected vehicles are Ford Explorers built between September 4, 2012 and January 17, 2017 at the Chicago assembly plant. Affected vehicles are at risk of having a rusty rear suspension arm, particularly in areas where severe road conditions are present. The suspension arm loses strength and may break while the vehicle is traveling on the roads. The driver could then lose control of the vehicle and cause a potentially serious accident. Owners of affected vehicles are invited to make an appointment as quickly as possible with their dealership so that they can carry out the inspection and then replace the said suspension arm if necessary. To confirm the seriousness of the matter, Ford claimed to be aware of 13 accidents that occurred in connection with this matter, while at least 6 injuries were reported. Also read, already a recall for the 2020 Explorer and Aviator. This is the second time the Ford Explorer has been recalled for a rear suspension problem. In June 2019, Ford recalled 1.2 million Ford Explorers from 2011 to 2017 for a similar problem, leading to the replacement of a faulty rear suspension arm. As of this writing, the recall is still not registered on the Transport Canada website. Owners of affected vehicles will be notified promptly by mail, and will be asked to contact their dealership to make an appointment. Might interest you. Published by RPM. 43,600 Ford F-150s recalled in Canada. Author, Luc-Olivier Chamberlain. Ford announces the recall of 43,600 units of its popular F-150 in Canada due to a problem with the electric decompression pump, which could suffer premature corrosion and cause it to malfunction. The faulty vehicles come from the Dearborn assembly plant covering the manufacturing period from August 4, 2010 to October 25, 2012, and from the Kansas City assembly plant between October 25, 2010 and August 20, 2012. All affected versions are equipped with the EcoBoost V6 engine of 3.5 liters. According to the announcement made, mold could settle into the component, accelerate corrosion, and cause the brake pedal to malfunction when starting. According to Ford, braking distances could be longer during the first cold use. Obviously, in the event of an emergency situation, the risk of an accident will be higher. For the moment, Ford has reported 11 incidents involving this electric vacuum pump problem. Fortunately, no one was injured during these events. Following the official recall, Ford will replace said pump free of charge for affected owners. Here is the press release sent by Transport Canada reporting this situation. In certain vehicles equipped with a 3.5L V6 GTDI EcoBoost engine, the electric vacuum pump, EVP, could fail due to the entry of humidity in the engine vacuum pump harness. A failure of the electric vacuum pump, EVP, could reduce brake assist immediately after first start. Additionally, depending on the driver's response, this issue could increase braking distance, which could increase the risk of a low-speed collision resulting in injury or property damage, or both. Published by RPM. Recall of 680,872 Ford Fusion and Lincoln MKZ. Author, Luke Olivier Chamberlain. Ford is issuing a major recall of its 2013 to 2016 Ford Fusion and 2013 to 2015 Lincoln MKZ. We discovered that the anchoring of the seat belt pretensioner cable could loosen during strong tension, in particular during an accident. In total, no less than 680,872 units of the two sedans are affected by this recall. To date, 2 incidents with injuries have been recognized by the car manufacturer. We do not disclose the nature of the injuries, nor the location where these events occurred. According to current analyses, the belts would not have held the victims in place during the impact. At the moment, we do not know precisely the number of affected vehicles in Canada since Transport Canada has still not issued an official recall. Affected owners will receive a letter from Ford Canada in the coming days or weeks. Improvements or repairs will be at no cost to consumers. This is the 19th recall in the history of the Ford Fusion and the 16th for the Lincoln MKZ.